Hello, Keychain pistol fans. This one looks too big to be 1/3 scale, although it is listed as a 1/3 scale pistol. This is a Chinese design, so this is called the Chinese Type 64 pistol, and this is the first firearm the Chinese designed on their own. This is because the Soviet Union split off from the Chinese in the 1950s. So this thing was designed in the 60s. But for some reason, Wikipedia says this is only started production in 1980 and is still made today. So let's do a little dimensioning here. So this thing weighs 32 grams, and then the internet says this. Well, Wikipedia says this is 153 millimeters long. So let's pull up the calculator there, and I have to lose this thing here. I'm just gonna tear that off and try to measure the length of this thing. This is way too big for 1/3 scale. This was influenced by the Walther PPK and the Makarov PM, which are really small pistols. So this is around 72 millimeters, I would say. Yeah, let's go with 71 or 72. 153 divided by 72. 2.125, so that's not remotely close to 1/3 scale. Half scale, really closer to that, and that's why it's so big. Alright, well, now you know. If you like Chinese pistols, though, it still looks pretty cool to the naked eye. So here's some images. Let's compare to this photo right here. It's got the star there. This one's got some, well, there is some funky texture there. Vertical things here. Very curved trigger. This one doesn't have such a curve. Oh, this is a different version, it seems, because this is a square opening. This is very round. And then for some reason the Chinese also named a silenced pistol the same thing. What are they thinking? Why do these two things have the same name? Very strange. The question is, can we find an image of this thing with this square opening? That's also kind of rounded. And then we're getting all the silenced images as well. Boy, well, I don't know. I don't see anything with a square opening. Maybe they just did it because it's easier to produce. Maybe the mold, yeah, that's probably what it is. They probably can't get the mold to go up or down or sideways with an ovoid opening. So, yeah, concessions were made to make it better. Well, not better, to make it producible and cheap at the same time. They could have made it look real, but it would probably cost a lot more because the mold would have been more difficult to make and pull parts out of. Speaking of which, you can see this extra metal flash, so the mold is probably getting old. Okay, let's see. So the grip is plastic, and it is nicely done. That is nicely molded. Everything looks nice and crisp. A little Phillips screw holding it in place. There's a Phillips screw on this side for the safety, I guess, on the other side. It's got a nice brushed metal finish. It is alloy, although very light for its size. This might be plastic here. Yeah, this is definitely plastic, this guard. So maybe, oh yeah, this is plastic as well. So I think only the slide is metal. That's why it was so light. Okay, the hammer is also plastic, but it's got some nice ribbing there to grab onto. Sadly, there's no groove in the rear sight, and the front sight is raised up a little bit. It is nice to see this, the Chinese characters and this serial number and stuff, and molded in, very cool. And this plastic safety here, well, it must move, right? Ugh. Yeah, it moves, just not very easily, but that's fine. Maybe it'll break in over time. Yeah, but it is plastic. They're definitely saving money on this keychain ring with a lot of plastic use. Okay, a lot of flash here. At least the paint matches up. The paint color matches. Is this the mag release? It's way up here because it's a small pistol in real life. Okay, so you can see the construction of how the grip goes around the whole frame. So that's neat. Interesting. I've never seen one of these guns in real life, so this is the closest I have to it. The barrel is also plastic, but it's got the ejector hook there, and then yeah, okay. This magazine is pretty awesome though. Look at this. I like how it's all opened up in there. And that does look like the magazine in the photograph, so that's neat. This little pin is probably holding this plate in place. Alright, so we got some rounds. I guess it must be really difficult, to make something out of die-cast metal that's capable of actually having a working action ejecting rounds. So that's probably why this thing is so big. Maybe it's just too difficult to pull parts out of a smaller mold. And so henceforth, the bigger the parts are, the more reliable the pulls would be out of the mold, and henceforth a cheaper keychain pistol. That spring wasn't too bad, even though it is nicely compressed. I really like how you can see what's going on there. By the way, this is metal. This is not plastic, so that's well, only this black piece in the middle is. And the bullets look decent enough. They're not the best bullets in the keychain realm, but they're still okay. So let's see if this will go up without using the mag release. It will, so that's nice. And then, yeah, okay. I don't think there's a slide lock on this thing. It's just literally gonna cock back, jam around forward, which it did easily, and then eject. Okay, oh boy. Oh, jammed. I think it might have to break in a little bit. There's probably some extra molding flash, and yeah, so I'm gonna have to do that a bunch of times. Yeah, there's no way to catch the slide, so I'm literally gonna have to hold this open and show you the inside. So a decent enough ramp it looks like to get the bullet into the barrel. Let's get some more light in there. Yeah, the ejector hook is metal, it looks like. Some sort of die cast, so there must be some springs back there holding that hook, allowing that thing to grab the magazine. Okay. Alright, well, I mean, it works. It's definitely not as realistic as it could be, just mainly because of this, right? The shape of it is just totally wrong from the real pistol. But everything else seems to look similar to the photographs to me. And it does have the coolness of being able to eject rounds. Let me reload. What's also interesting on Wikipedia is the round itself on the real gun. It shoots a 7.62 by 17 round. This is the first pistol to use that round, so it's not like a regular, 9mm or 45 caliber kind of thing, right? The Chinese made their own rounds. So let's see here. Do this again. Oh, that jammed also. Yeah, alright, so the first was a fluke, but I'm sure there must be a certain speed that's ideal to make this work. And yeah, maybe again it has to break in. Something might be, like a little burr or something might be causing problems. Just looking at the bullets, I have a feeling these are made by Model Toy Handicraft, some other guns I've reviewed. They all come in these, the similar cases. Maybe just the sleeve was lost or something like that. But let's look at the bullets and compare these. This 1911 also isn't 1/3 scale, it's bigger than 1/3. Those look very similar to me, right? I think those are identical bullets. So, yeah, it's probably the same factory. And also, even this base plate. Yeah, that's a identical base plate. So, yeah, interesting. So they're, I guess, saving costs on certain shared designs, which is fine by me. That's cool. They still look cool. This one is not the greatest 1911 though, again, because it doesn't have the notch. The Yingtu ones do have the rear sights notch. This one also doesn't have a notch. What are the big bullets on this Chinese one look like? This is the QSC 92, the modern pistol the Chinese use. So same thing. Those are identical bullets. So Model Toy Handicraft, yeah, they must have made this thing. This is also a cool magazine, right? Same idea, although it's a much thinner thing. And again, I think it's the same base plate. No, it is a different base plate. My bad. Okay, so a bunch of non-scale guns, somewhere in the 2 to 2.8 scale range. Here's the Beretta, and here's some sort of a 2011, I think, a CTI kind of looking thing. So I kind of feel like these four look pretty similar in sizing. It's just that if you've ever seen a Walther PPK or a Makarov PM, they're very small pistols. So this still looks quite large even compared to the other guns by the same company. As usual, it's fun to load up the thing, you know, and then move the action and inject rounds. So it's a pretty fun little toy. I think you'll probably lose some of those bullets at some point in time, but it doesn't bother me. Okay, well, we'll see you in the next Keychain gun review. Thanks for watching. Bye.